ISF Compliance – Impact on Labor Rights. Welcome back to our Customs Brokerage series. In today's episode, we will be discussing the importance of ISF compliance in relation to labor and human rights regulations. Let's dive right in. Before we delve deeper, let's quickly recap what ISF is. Importer Security Filing, or ISF, is a U.S. Customs and Border Protection (CBP) requirement for importers to provide specific information about their shipments before they arrive in the United States. It is aimed at enhancing the security of the country's supply chain. Now, you might be wondering, what does labor and human rights regulations have to do with ISF compliance? Well, when it comes to international trade, it's crucial for companies to not only ensure compliance with customs regulations but also with labor and human rights standards. When importing goods, it is essential to consider the working conditions and labor practices of the manufacturers and suppliers involved in the production process. Ethical sourcing has become increasingly significant as consumers and governing bodies demand businesses to prioritize fair labor practices and respect for human rights. Meeting labor and human rights regulations requires a comprehensive approach that incorporates due diligence, regular audits, and monitoring of suppliers' compliance throughout the supply chain. This includes thorough background checks on potential suppliers, ensuring fair wages, safe working conditions, and compliance with child labor laws, among other requirements. Now, let's connect this back to ISF compliance. Customs brokers play a crucial role in helping importers meet labor and human rights regulations. They assist in gathering the necessary information related to the sourcing and production of goods, ensuring that the supply chain is transparent and compliant with all applicable regulations. By implementing ISF compliance, customs brokers can identify potential risks and discrepancies earlier in the supply chain. Any red flags raised during the ISF filing process can prompt further investigation into labor practices and help detect potential instances of forced labor or human rights violations. Importers who prioritize labor and human rights compliance gain a competitive edge in the marketplace. Today's socially conscious consumers are more likely to support businesses that demonstrate ethical practices and accountability. Additionally, importers who fail to comply with labor and human rights regulations may face legal consequences, reputational damage, and supply chain disruptions. It's essential for importers to work closely with their customs brokers to navigate the complex landscape of labor and human rights regulations. Additionally, establishing strong relationships with suppliers who follow these regulations is vital to ensure a transparent and ethical supply chain. In conclusion, ISF compliance and labor and human rights regulations go hand in hand. By prioritizing both aspects, importers can not only meet customs requirements but also contribute to a fairer and more sustainable global trade environment. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you found this episode informative and insightful. Be sure to watch out for our upcoming videos where we will continue to explore various topics related to customs brokerage and international trade. Remember, compliance is key for a successful import process. Stay tuned, and see you next time. Disclaimer note below. Happy importing and see you next time.